Hey everyone, thank you for joining us for our Alchemy and Crypto.com live video AMA today. I'm Tina Baker Taylor, the UK General Manager at Crypto.com, and I'm delighted to be your host for today's live stream session. Alchemy is endeavoring to empower blockchain developers with the fundamental building blocks that they need to support the Alchemy mission. And support the Alchemy mission to bring blockchain to 1 billion people. Alchemy provides a leading blockchain development platform, which currently services millions of users in 197 countries worldwide, and today is powering up to $15 billion in on-chain transactions and relied upon by 70% of the world's top Ethereum apps. Alchemy's Supernode is the most widely used Ethereum API with supercharged reliability, data correctness, and scalability. Crypto.com was excited to announce last month a new partnership with Alchemy to power the Crypto.com developer platform and support the ecosystem with a comprehensive suite of developer tools and services to enable Crypto.com chain partners to build a great application. It's our pleasure to be joined today by Nikil Viswanathan, co-founder and CEO at Alchemy. Nikil will be responding to some of our questions that have been submitted by both of our communities. And if your question was selected for today's stream, you may have won a share of the prize pool that will be paid in CRO. So, Nikil, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
No, it's awesome to see you. So let's kick off with a little bit about your story and the story of Alchemy. It'd be great to understand what led you to found Alchemy and why the problems you're solving are important.
Absolutely. Happy to share. So my co-founder, Joe, and I, we actually met at Stanford many, many years ago teaching the computer science class. The databases class at Stanford, which ironically became, for those of you familiar with Coursera, we were the kind of first experiment of Coursera, and the class that we taught ended up being that company later on. So we did that. We actually reconnected post-college and built a bunch of consumer products. We built apps that made it easy to connect with friends. And it was funny because we never thought any of them would be really successful. And this one app ended up being the #1 app on the App Store, millions of people around the world, and front page of the New York Times. We started getting really into crypto about 5 years ago, and we had been building different products and getting really excited about it as we were building. So Joe and I are engineers backgrounds. We've coded every single day for like the last 15 years. And as we were building these products, we realized it was very, very difficult to build. We had built products for iOS, we had built products for web, and it was just extremely difficult to build given the tools that we had. So what we did is we had actually built a lot of tools internally for making it easy for ourselves to build. And once we talked to different developers around the world, we realized that this was a big problem. So we started opening that up. So we've been working on Alchemy for a really long time. It's been 4 years, and it's been quite the journey. Not all ups. There's been a lot of downs. It's been a pretty crazy ride, but it's been fun to see how broad the ecosystem has grown and how from 2016, 2017, the early days when there were just not that much developer activity, to now when you can't open Twitter or open the newspaper without hearing something about Bitcoin and crypto.
Yeah, well, that reminds me of this adage that, it's a million, all-nighters to be an overnight success, right? I mean, the hard graft that goes in. And I love founder stories that start off with, I was having a hard time doing something, and so I decided to fix it. Because there's obviously a, emotional attachment to solving the problem, which I think, really adds to the passion that sits behind the project.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at any great startup, you see the finished product. If you look at, a Facebook, a Google, a Microsoft, and Amazon, and when you really get to hear the stories of behind the scenes, you know that it's decades of grind that go into that. So it's a very, very, very rare thing to hear about those stories, but it's always really inspiring because the struggles that these people had to go through seemed insurmountable, and they pushed through and created something great for the world.
100%. Okay, so we have a few questions from our community. So let's dive into those. And then as a bit of a special treat, after this, we will hop over to Clubhouse and do a Q&A session. So for the questions that were submitted previously this week, let's kick off with, how is Alchemy enabling global adoption and the expansion of blockchain? What role do you expect that Alchemy will play in making blockchain highly adaptable and adoptable for global use?
Great question. So when you think about what it takes to build products for blockchain, or actually even backing up one level, when you think about what it takes for blockchain to be successful, blockchain ultimately will be successful. There's this cycle of developers build products, and then those products are used by people, and those people around the world get value from that. So in once you have people getting value, more developers come and build more products because they see people using the products that they built. So when you think about this life cycle circle, the critical piece is it's really difficult for developers to build applications right now, given the tooling and the infrastructure that are available. So we think of ourselves, when you think about building a building. So if you have a hammer and a shovel, you can build a hut, right? If you're trying to build a house to live in. But if you have construction equipment, if you have cranes, if you have backhoe loaders, I really like construction equipment, so I know the names of all these random ones. If you have the modern construction equipment, you can build skyscrapers. So our role at Alchemy is really empowering the developers. We create the tools that they need to build great products. And as a byproduct, they're able to help grow the ecosystem with great products. So that's how we see our role. And fundamentally, we are here to enable developers to do their job better. And we wake up day and night to really, our laser focus is not on marketing, it's not on publicity, it's really, we talk to our users, we talk to our developers and make sure that they have a great experience with our product and can create what they want.
Awesome. So understanding that that's the goal, what's the biggest challenge you're currently facing and what are you doing to address it?
Absolutely. The biggest, when we think about different aspects of a startup, there's team, there's fundraising, there's product market fit, there's the growth of the whole ecosystem. And Alchemy, we've been in a very lucky position where we de-risked all of these. And the one that we kind of focus on very heavily is how quickly is the market growing? And when we say market, we mean crypto ecosystem as a whole. One of the really amazing things that we've seen over the past year is the past year has essentially turned into an advertisement for crypto with apps and people getting censored and kicked off the internet, with giant, at least in the United States, giant influxes of money being printed. So what we're seeing is all of the core tenets that crypto provides are suddenly becoming mainstream instead of something that had in theory merely a year ago.
Well, real to people. I think the pandemic has shown that too, right?
Exactly. So I think the thing that we always focus on, the one factor that's out of our control is, and this is only partially out of our control, because on one hand, the crypto market, Alchemy only has so much influence over the crypto market. On the other hand, by the second and third orders of what we do, we provide the base layer that other great companies such as Crypto.com can build on top of. And then when companies like Crypto.com build great products and provide value to the rest of the world, that helps grow the ecosystem. So we kind of think of ourselves as a mini Archimedes lever. If we want to help move the crypto world, the better we do our job, the more we empower people. And that's a multiplicative factor on their output.
Yeah. Okay. So if you want to build a dApp, you're going to need some nodes, right? So quality infrastructure is one of the most important factors for great user experiences, real-world adoption, and developer productivity. Today, within the blockchain landscape, maintaining self-nodes is expensive, unreliable, and extremely time-consuming. So how is Alchemy helping to solve this?
Yeah, so this will get fairly technical, but for those of you who are listening, hang on, and I'll do my best to explain it in non-engineering. There's several problems you have when you run nodes. One problem is that they're very difficult to scale. They take many days or weeks to spin up and fully sync. So what happens is when you have your site and you suddenly get an influx of users, you're not able to serve that demand, in the sense of if you have a normal website, you can just add more web servers and you can scale out really nicely. So that's one big challenge. The other big challenge is when you have nodes and you split traffic across them or you load balance across them, because they're a distributed network, the core concept of load balancing in traditional web architecture, where you say, hey, imagine if Facebook has one user and they have one web server, and now they have a million users, and you just add 10 more web servers and split the traffic over each of those. That doesn't actually work in blockchain, because what happens is each node has a slightly different view of the network. So what'll happen is something will happen, like you will go buy some CRO token, and then you'll hit refresh, and this time it might get routed to a different node and it'll show you a different account balance. So these are some of the core challenges, in addition to reliability. So these are some of the core challenges that we've solved with Supernode, and one of the reasons we're so excited to partner with Crypto.com, because we can help provide the massive user base and help the company scale. As we know that Crypto.com has real users, millions of people around the world using the product. And with this partnership, we can really provide a smooth experience for all of those users. And when we think about infrastructure, our goal is to make it as simple as AWS. You don't have to worry about it at all. Back in the olden days, when I say olden days, I mean like 15 years ago, you had to go buy a physical computer and drive to a warehouse that was somewhere within 100 miles for you, and you had to plug it in, right? And that's how your website was run. And if you don't have that, if you have a sudden surge in users, you need to go to Best Buy and you need to buy another computer and you need to drive to your warehouse and you need to plug it back in, whether it's 2 in. So that was the world before Amazon Web Services came out. And that's the world that crypto's in now. And we're transitioning it to the post AWS world, where you can just click a button, or you don't even have to click a button. It automatically gives you more compute as you grow. So that's a really great goal. So what our goal is, helping awesome companies like Crypto.com focus on their user base and focus on creating great products and not have to worry about this infrastructure layer underneath.
Awesome. So speaking of that, enabling developers to build, this is a great segue to some really specific technical questions that we've had from the community. So the first one is, does the address activity notify API when the transaction is mined or on the mempool?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a great question. So backing up a little bit, one of the things that Alchemy has done is we have created their standard APIs for CRO, for Ethereum, for different chains. And what we've done is created an access layer on top of those chains that enables more efficient and easier access to the underlying data in the chains.
Okay.
So the address activity webhooks, it refer to an Ethereum specific thing. What that means is, right now, as a user, when I have an Ethereum wallet and someone sends me some crypto, let's say someone sends me some CRO token, there's no way for Ethereum to tell you, hey, you got some CRO token. That's just not built into Ethereum. So one of the things that we do is we have an engine that watches the blockchain and it analyzes all the transactions and gives the user notifications. So when you think about modern products that you use, like an Instagram, a Facebook, when someone comments on your Facebook timeline, or someone comments on your Instagram post, or someone likes your Instagram post, you get a notification on your phone. Right now, in a lot of wallets, when someone sends you CRO token, or someone sends you Ethereum, or someone sends you whatever token you're getting, that is not a notification on your phone. And what this product we built does is address activity webhooks enables that to be a notification on your phone. So then the question is, when exactly is it triggered? It's triggered when you actually receive the currency.
Awesome. Okay. So building on that, Alchemy already has notifications for address activity, as you've just described, mined and drop transactions, and gas price. What else is in the roadmap for Alchemy Notify?
Yeah, so we have a whole suite of, so Alchemy Notify is one of the many APIs that we offer, the enhanced APIs that we offer on top of the standard APIs. We have a whole suite of solutions that are coming out. Things around gas, things around different debugging tools, things around new types of APIs that we want to offer. I can't talk about a lot of them specifically, but feel free to email me. My email address is on the website. You can ping at alchemyapi.io. We're happy to discuss it. If you have any ideas for new APIs that you want, we're always there. Jump in our Discord, jump in our Telegram, and ask us. And we'd love to deep dive and share some of the plans with you guys.
Awesome. Thanks for that invitation. So you mentioned earlier that you don't put a lot of emphasis yourself on marketing, but marketing is a critical element for the growth and success of the businesses that you're supporting. So after these developers spend the time to build a killer app or a killer dApp, you need to get people to actually use it. So you recently launched Alchemy Amplify. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and explain how it works?
Absolutely. So one of our core focuses is supporting the builders, the developers who are creating great products. In the beginning of Alchemy, that was through the tools and the APIs that we offered. Now we realize that because of the span, we have the largest professional blockchain developer community in the world, and developers in all across the globe serving millions of users in every single country in the world. So we wanted to help promote their applications. And so one of the things we do, we have a few different ways we do this. So with Alchemy Amplify, the idea is that when you launch a new application, there's kind of two main challenges. One is actually building the product. The next challenge is how do you get users and people to see what's going on with your product and start using your product. So with Alchemy Amplify, it's a suite of communication mechanisms. We send it out on our internal channels. We promote it to our developers. We promote it externally to all of our partners and our VC friends. So there's a whole group of mechanisms that we have that help when you create a new product, we blast that out to everyone to give you awareness.
That's great support. Okay, so moving on to a super hot topic at the moment, DeFi. So decentralized finance has become, all the buzz. What would you say is the most promising DeFi application for Alchemy at the moment? And what use cases do you think are promising that maybe people haven't fully explored yet?
Absolutely. So DeFi or decentralized finance is one of the hottest areas in blockchain development right now. And Alchemy actually powers the majority of DeFi. So I believe about like 60% of DeFi applications are on Alchemy. So we power a huge chunk of what's going through the ecosystem. So it's been really, really cool. One of my favorite things has actually been seeing some of the projects that started out really small and joined Alchemy, and then we help them as they scale through billions of dollars. I think there are several areas that are very fascinating. Obviously, lending is a very exciting area. I think one of the really nice things about portfolio management in blockchain is that it's completely anonymous. So for example, if you want to see all of your crypto and you want to see all of the trades you've made, there's multiple applications that we have that we support that show you this in an instant way where you don't have to put in your information. They don't know who you are. They don't know how much money you have. Because when you use other products, if you use, let's say there's a new portfolio app that comes out and it's a startup, there's a very high chance they're actually looking at your data, especially if it's a small team. But with crypto, that doesn't happen because you're completely anonymous. So I think that's super interesting. I think that one of the most interesting areas is when you think about the traditional banking infrastructure, you see all these checks and balances on something you're supposed to own. So literally yesterday, I was trying to withdraw money from my bank account. I had some ridiculously low limit that I couldn't wire out money. So this is my money. I want to use it in a certain way, but I can't. So one of the really nice things in crypto is being able to exchange and trade and buy and sell assets instantly, anytime, 24/7, without having to have anyone's approval. So that was really cool. And I think we see a bunch of applications across the trading space, across the exchange space, and then finally the last piece that I think is really interesting is this concept of composability. So when you have a DeFi product, you can actually build on top of that. So you'll see these like base layer lending protocols, and then you'll see things built on top of that. Then you'll see things built on top of that. And they're really enabling new types of financial interactions that weren't possible before. For example, when you think about flash loans or instant loans from other protocols, you don't need to go wait at a bank to get approved for a loan. You can do this instantly. So that is a really amazing thing. And one of the big things that we always talk about internally at Alchemy is, in order for crypto to be successful, you need to use a product and not even know that it's blockchain. So what do I mean by that? So when you go to dinner and you grab an Uber there, and you like go there and you check on Yelp, and then or at least in the US, you check on Yelp, this app, or Foursquare, and then you go and you pay with your phone, right? Or you pay with a credit card. You never say, oh wow, I use this internet app and an iPhone app to get me there, and then I use this other internet app to download the menu and look at it. It's just this seamless experience that technology blends away, and you get the functionality that you're used to. So with blockchain, a similar thing will happen. Once it comes to the point that blockchain is no longer mentioned, it's no longer this blockchain app, it's just this product that lets you do something you couldn't do before. And that key distinction is when you're able to do something that you couldn't do before, that is when you have these like magic moments. I think we're starting to see that in DeFi, and we're starting to see that in other aspects of blockchain also. So that to me is when you know blockchain will be successful. And we know it's going to be successful in the long term, but the question is, when is the now? And the now happens when you have people using products that they get value from that they don't even know are blockchain.
Right. Frictionless experience. Absolutely. To adoption. So I mentioned earlier that Crypto.com is really excited to be working with Alchemy to help empower developers on the Crypto.com chain. So how is Alchemy going to help those users and continue to work at scale? And what do you see are the future opportunities for this partnership?
Absolutely. So we were very excited to work with Crypto.com. Crypto.com has a massive user base, is used globally, has several products that people really love. So for us, this is a very exciting opportunity. We had basically every chain approach us to say, hey, let's work together. We love the Crypto.com team, and we love their relentless focus on creating great user experience. So for us, our goal is to be invisible to the users. We want to empower the Crypto.com team to build and scale the product to billions of people around the world. And we're just behind the scenes. And if we do our job well, then no one who uses Crypto.com will ever hear about Alchemy besides this podcast, because we are empowering the builders, and we want Crypto.com to get all the limelight and Crypto.com to do super well. And it's interesting when you think about infrastructure and developer platforms, the only time people hear about us is if we go down, which if you hadn't heard about Alchemy, that's because we haven't gone down, and people are usually happy with it. So that's kind of the way that we view our relationships with a client. We want our customers and our partners like Crypto.com to be able to succeed and scale globally, and we want to be the underlying layer that helps power that.
That's amazing. Okay, so listen, we're going to jump over to Clubhouse in a second. So I think I'm going to hold the rest of my questions for then. We'll try this new medium and see how it goes. So for anyone watching on YouTube, I just want to thank everyone for joining us today. And thanks to Nikil for jumping in and explaining what's going on behind the scenes. For anyone who did join and sent in a question, you may have won a share of the prize pool that'll be paid in CRO. And if your question was asked, it will appear in your wallet in 14 days. So you can follow Nikil on Twitter at Nikil?
Nikilster, Nikilster.
And follow Alchemy at?
Alchemy Platform, Alchemy, Alchemy, Platform, Platform.
Awesome. Okay, so Nikil and I are going to head over to Clubhouse now for a live audience Q&A. Please definitely join us if you have Clubhouse. The link to the room is being shown in the YouTube chat now, or you can check our Twitter. Before we go, just in case you missed it this morning, we've launched a new trading promotion, which will be especially intriguing for anyone inspired by Elon's recent interest in Bitcoin. So if you trade $100 worth of Bitcoin on the Crypto.com app between now and the 8th of March, you'll be entered into a random drawing to win one of 4 Teslas. So check out our Twitter at Crypto.com for additional details on this promotion and to stay informed for upcoming events and promotions, and to get the link to Clubhouse, where Nikil and I will see you in a minute or less. Nikil, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.
All right, see you soon.